Republicans across the board have come out hard against President Obama's debt plan, and it's no surprise. In his speech yesterday, Obama put the GOP in a tough position. By offering up his own solution, Obama connected Republicans to their party's plan, which he correctly framed as one which offers tax cuts for the rich at the expense of the poor. And no one's more upset about this than the GOP budget mastermind Paul Ryan, who was forced to sit front and center while the president tore his proposal to shreds. Apparently, he wasn't expecting that Obama might actually go on the attack.
I was expecting, from actually speaking with some Democrats, that it was going to be an olive branch speech. That when the commander-in-chief sort of brings himself down to the level of the partisan mosh pit that we've been in, that we are in, it makes it more difficult to bring that kind of leadership.
Oh, so were your feelings hurt? Some people have cried about how President Obama shouldn't have invited him to the speech if he was going to disagree with him. I love that. These guys are actually shocked and chagrined to find out that the president is in fact a Democrat. Look, I'm a little surprised too, but I love the audacity of their expectations. At least I voted for the guy, right? These guys think like, how dare he disagree with us? And if he does, he should be far more polite about it. Now, this comes from the same guys who viciously attacked the president day in and day out. In fact, the Republicans lit into the president right after the speech, saying this isn't a serious proposal, this shows no leadership, and he just wants to play political games. So what? Only Republicans are allowed to make their case? And if the president actually states his opinion, they are grossly offended. How dare you be a Democrat? We told you to agree with us. Terrible. No manners at all. So when the president actually went on the offense and said the GOP vision on Medicare says America can't afford to keep their promise we've made to care for our seniors, the Republicans actually went into a panic. And here's the fun part. Now, there are reports all over Washington that Republicans with districts that have huge senior populations in them are a little non-committal on whether they will vote for the Ryan plan. Oops. Sometimes when you play with fire, you get burned. So Ryan just released an op-ed in the Washington Post in a panic. He says the words retirement and retirees 6 times, seniors 6 times, Medicaid and Medicare 8 times. Why? Because he says, did I say I was going to cut Medicare? Did I say that? Me? No. I mean, I'm going to protect seniors and retirees. Yeah, that's the ticket. Oh, I love the smell of Republican panic in the morning. All right, now joining me is editor-at-large of Salon, Joan Walsh, and Ernest Istook, former congressman, now is visiting fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Ernie, let me start with you.
Sure.
Did these Republican guys get caught with their hand in the cookie jar on Medicare?
No, not at all. The worst thing you can do to somebody is make a promise that you cannot keep. When you're spending, when 40% of the money that the federal government spends is borrowed, when you've got a $1.6 trillion annual deficit, and you keep making promises that are unsustainable, you're leading people down a primrose path rather than telling them, look, we've got to straighten things up. That's what Paul Ryan's trying to do, tell people that.
Ernie,
he's being honest.
Right, he's just being honest. We're going to cut your Medicare. So that's okay, Ernie, just tell the American people. You're being honest with them. You think there's not enough money to give to the rich?
Do you want to make a promise you can't keep?
Right, no, I know. I want to get you on the record.
There's
not enough money to pay the rich. They need a tax cut because they got a tax cut on Ryan's plan, 35 to 25%.
I got news
Since
for
there's
you
not
on
enough
that.
money for the rich, you have to cut their Medicare, right?
No, Cenk, you ought to look at the Wall Street Journal today published the fact that if you take everybody in the country that makes more than $100,000 a year and tax 100% of their taxable income, you still won't cover the deficit. That's taxing everybody over $100,000 that makes over $100,000 a year.
No, but we're not only saying look at revenue. We're saying look at revenue and spending. You guys are the ones that are saying only look at spending. You're saying don't look at revenue at all. But you didn't answer the question. Now, you want to lower. No, hold on. Ryan's plan wants to lower the taxes for the rich from 35 to 25%. So you're saying there's just not enough money to pay for the rich.
Now,
so we have to cut your Medicare. Correct or incorrect?
Do you know who pays their fair share? The top 1% of income earners in the country pay 40%.
No, but you're not answering the question. You want to give them another tax cut, right? You want to give them another tax cut. Yes or no?
I'm saying, actually, Ryan is saying bring the corporate rate down so companies quit sending jobs overseas and start having an America.
And the individual
need
bracket.
jobs
So
here.
yes, the answer is yes. You want to lower taxes for the rich, and you saying they're not enough
I want
money
to
for
lower
Medicare.
taxes for people who create jobs so that we can bring jobs
Where
back
are
to
the
America.
jobs,
The Heritage
Ernie?
Foundation says we'll get a
Joan,
billion
go ahead.
If they're
jobs
creating
from
jobs,
Ryan's
where are
plan.
the jobs? And everybody, every
They're
nonprofit
going overseas
organization.
because our taxes are the highest in the world.
We gave you
corporate
guys a big
taxes.
tax cut. You got a ginormous tax
You
cut
haven't
with
fixed
the
the
Bush
corporate
tax
tax,
cuts.
Joan.
Why in God's name were jobs not created during the Bush administration if
Even
tax cuts for the rich
Obama-
create jobs? It's pathetic,
Even
Ernie, to
Obama
keep
says the corporate tax
trotting
rate
this
has got
out.
to be reduced to bring jobs back to America.
That's
Did
fine.
you
That's what
listen to him
Obama
on that
says, but
point?
we're talking about the personal tax rate, which Paul Ryan does reduce that top bracket to 25%, which is abominable. You know, you're the
Okay.
people who were
You're taking the
last year
job
screaming about Medicare.
Joan,
He's
you're not
going
going
to
to cover
hurt
the
Medicare.
deficit taxing the rich. You
You
won't
know what,
cover
Ernie?
it. You won't
Would you
come
let
close.
me talk? I didn't interrupt
Go right
you.
ahead.
Thank you. That's lovely. The Paul Ryan plan cuts Medicare for seniors. It breaks the promise, and it says that we can't be America anymore. That's what the Paul Ryan
That's not
plan
what it
says.
does.
We can't keep. The reason we have Medicare, Ernie, is that there is no private market for seniors, for people who are sick and elderly
wants
and
to-
getting sicker. He's going
That's
to give
not-
them vouchers
All
and
right.
say, fend for yourself. And that's what Medicare said we're not going to do to
Joan,
our seniors anymore.
Ernie, I want to
Joan,
ask you another
actually,
question.
It's supposed
Ernie,
to be a shared
hold
responsibility.
on, Ernie. Let me ask you another question.
Answer her, Yank. She's saying things. Read Ryan's plan.
I have read
He does
it.
not change Medicare for people who are already in it, for anybody that's over
I
55.
understand, but we
he wants
would
to
all
change
like
the
to get
future so
there.
it'll be sustainable and won't go bankrupt and leave everybody with no coverage at all.
It doesn't have to go bankrupt. If the Republicans didn't
All right.
yell about death panels last year when President Obama was actually proposing, and thank God
You
they're
keep
in the
changing
bill,
the subject.
was
You know,
All right,
you know,
proposing ways
hold
to
on,
keep,
guys.
to
I'm going to
keep
change the
costs
subject.
down.
Sure.
No, guys, listen.
Those
You're the
are
host,
death
Yank.
panels.
Hold on. Everybody bring it down. Now, Ernie, listen. First of all, you're saying for people under 55, we got to hurry up and cut Medicare, otherwise we'd have to cut Medicare. That's a brilliant
We've got
plan.
to change it.
Okay,
if
all right,
we,
but
if we
hold on.
wanna
I want
make
to
it
ask you
something
about the
that'll endure.
politics. I want to ask you about the politics. Look, you can say you can spin it any way you like, but the bottom line is, when these Republicans vote to cut Medicare, they're in a world of trouble. Down in Florida, in Pennsylvania, some of the districts are heavily senior citizens, and you can spin it, and good luck to you.
It's a
but are they
political
really going to
challenge,
vote
you're right.
that way, or is there some chance that Ryan's plan is actually going to get voted down because the Republicans go, I don't know, I'm not going to
What
touch
would you rather
that.
have, Yank? Somebody that promises you
Cenk.
$1 million and can't deliver, or somebody that promises you less?
No, but
and
I'm
you know it's
asking you,
gonna
are the
happen?
Republicans going to vote for the Ryan plan, or are they not? That's my question.
Well, we're going to find out, within the next 24 hours when it comes up for vote. I think you'll see that it passes the House. Will it be unanimous among all the Republicans? No. Probably won't be unanimous among all the Democrats either.
All right, Joan, last question to you. They're now, I just read that the Republicans are accusing President Obama of cutting Medicare in his proposal. Now, that's rich.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Go ahead.
if we really were ready to have a serious conversation and we were not playing partisan politics, we really can all agree that costs are going up too quickly and that they are unsustainable. And there were progressive, not just progressive in the sense of partisan progressive, but there were smart things done in the Affordable Care Act to try to bring costs down, to try to keep doctors from simply providing services, to do preventative things rather than treat people after they get sick. There are innovative ways to talk about this. It was all described as death panels, and last year it was really convenient for Republicans to scare seniors for the 2010 election by saying that Obama was going to hurt Medicare. We need to collaborate on a way to keep costs down, but this is not the way.
All right,
Well,
guys, it's been a
government
lively
overregulation
conversation.
is
We
what's
got to
driving
leave it
up
right
costs.
there.
Let's talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Exactly. We got to leave it right there. Editor-at-large for Salon, Joan Walsh. Thank you, former Congressman Ernest Istook.
Thanks.
Thank you for
Thanks.
joining me. Really appreciate it. And look, I'll say my last part here to the audience. I'll tell you, if the Republicans are proud of it and they want to vote for cutting Medicare, have at it, Hoss. I'm enjoying watching that. I'll grab some popcorn and see how it turns out.